Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Let's get back to the action. So we've got vulnerabilities everywhere that are piling up and people aren't going to patch. But I'm more interested in finding what the Treasury Department is doing in terms of fraud investigations. Because this one's interesting, Steve.
So 3 years ago, the EFF posted a detailed takedown of a really disturbing piece of software known as Computer COP. Computer COP. And for years, it was being offered by a company somewhere in the Northeast. I can't remember where, like, you know, New Jersey or New York somewhere. It was being purchased in bulk by law enforcement agencies around the U.S. and then freely distributed by them as a public service and as a public relations freebie to their communities. So, for example, in one case, a sheriff's department bought a copy for every family in its county. You know, and the idea was, and at the time of their reporting, the EFF found that that this Computer COP software was being distributed by 245 different agencies in more than 35 states in the U.S. Okay, so what's the problem with Computer COP? Well, among its several features, first of all, it's not great software. It's the kind of thing that, you know, mom and dad install on their computer that proposes to allow them to find out, like, what images their children are using, except it turns out that it only knows where the images of IE and Safari are located, so it doesn't find any images if they're using any other browser, and it does no filtering of them, showing all of the icons and faves and you know, all the little like buttons. I mean, it's a very, very poor piece of software. Poorly written, poorly designed, basically just a scam. So, I mean, it sort of does what it purports to, but it's not anything anyone would want to use. So it's worth what you pay for it, or which you know, what mom and dad pay for it, which is nothing, because it's just being given out by law enforcement, being called the first line of defense against, you know, the evil, the dark web, the problems on the internet. Well, among its features is a keystroke logger, which records the keyboard activity for all of the computer users, stores the entire keystroke archive unencrypted on the system's hard drive, meaning credit card numbers entered, passwords entered for all the sites everyone on the computer visits, you know, account names, everything, every keystroke. When it encounters a keyword which might be questionable, a trigger word, it emails the unencrypted stored archive to a central server, which then emails it back to the household's parents.
That's such a good idea.
All in the clear.
Okay, so let's break this down. This is essentially, it's not quite a rat. It's not a remote access tool, but it's pretty dang close.
It's an auto rat.
Yeah, it's an auto rat.
It's an auto rat.
So it sits there and it keylogs everything.
Yes.
And then upon receiving...
Because you never know
right,
what nasty word someone might type.
Precisely. And then upon the receipt of some sort of trigger word, which says that I want the list of everything, it doesn't just provide it to you, it mails it unprotected, unencrypted, in clear text. To a third party, which then mails it back to me in unencrypted, unprotected format.
Yes. Here's email containing all the usernames and passwords and credit card numbers and everything that's been entered into the computer's keyboard.
So essentially anyone listening to the line would just receive a clear text stream of everything that you've typed into your computer. Oh,
exactly. Anybody like doing a packet capture, anyone watching the internet is going to see in clear text all of the private keyboard activity on that machine. So to increase the tastiness of this for law enforcement, it was at the time that the EFF brought it to the world's attention, being marketed with invalid endorsements purportedly from the U.S. Department of Treasury, which has since issued a fraud alert over the document, which the publisher of Computer Cop doctored. Computer Cop's publisher claims an apparently non-existent endorsement by the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, and an expired endorsement from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Even if those endorsements were legitimate, they're not backed by any responsible investigation into the design and operation of the product. That was 3 years ago. Today, the EFF is able to report that the U.S. Treasury Department, speedy folks that they are, have concluded their fraud investigation into this Computer Cop, quote, internet safety, unquote, software. The Treasury Department did find that the company had forged documents which it had been using as marketing material for its products, and that those forged documents were instrumental in the sales of the software to U.S. law enforcement agencies across the country.
That's where you get in trouble. Yeah.
However, the 3-year statute of limitations had since expired, and the forged documents were no longer present on the company's website or marketing materials, so there's no penalty that can be brought against these cretins who are publishing this. Even today, the software continues to be sold and offered free of charge to the public, where the software is promoted to the law enforcement agencies as perfect election and fundraising tools.
Wow. You know, actually, there's different levels of meaning for that, because if you want to spy on people, yeah, that's a great tool. You know, the amazing thing about this, well, a few things. One is that they would use the ACLU as one of their fraudulent endorsements. I mean, the ACLU is basically a pile of lawyers. Why would you ever do that? That's just stupid for self-preservation. The second thing is, and this bothers me, Steve, yes, a statute of limitations is over, but they were going to get in trouble not for the fact that they created horrible software, but for the fact that they marketed it wrong.
Correct. Yes. I know. In the EFF's follow-up just a day ago, they wrote, in 2017, that is this year, the Lake County Sheriff's Office in Florida purchased 1,000 copies for $5,975. By the way, this is using public funds. This is funds from evidence recoup slush fund or something. So nearly $6,000 was spent for 1,000 copies of this crapware, according to Smart Procure, which is an oversight database. And McGruff, the crime dog, was handing out copies.
No, not McGruff.
McGruff has been subverted, handing out copies in his hot little dog suit this summer at a community screening of the film Elf in Islip, New York.
They dragged McGruff into this, Steve. Now
you can't make this. Words. You can't make this up, Padre. You can't make this up.
So I actually kind of want a copy of it now. I just want to see. I'm
sure you can find one. I bet you can find one. Maybe the takeaway for our listeners, of course, and for anyone they know, is to stay as far away from this Computer Cop spyware as possible. What a catastrophe! So thank you to the EFF for
Oh, yeah,
and
actually.
no thanks to the Treasury Department for not moving quickly enough to slap these people with a fine that would knock them out of existence forever, because this crap should not be provided to law, anywhere.
There's something larger here, Steve, and I actually saw it over the break because I went to be with my family, my parents in Las Vegas, and I basically had to nuke every machine in the house, aside from the Chromebooks that I had given to my mom and my dad. And it's because my father kept downloading software. And he's like, but I paid for this. I paid for it. I'm like, Dad, just because you pay $10 for a piece of software doesn't mean that it's good. And there was every kind of malware installed on these things. And this is not a singular thing. Yes, this is a particularly bad example, but there's software out there that, even if it isn't straight up malware, is just so poorly coded that it doesn't belong on a computer of anyone that you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it's back to I'm locking down your computer so you can't install anything without me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Okay. So
give me some good news, Steve.
Hey, Charlotte County. This is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too, because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheep up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think, if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is if I got some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.